Episode 43, Testing and Improving Your Soil. Welcome back to EcoAlchemy, fellow garden enthusiasts. If you've got a passion for plants and a love for the outdoors, then you know the secret to any flourishing garden lies in its foundation, your soil. But here's the truth. Soil isn't just dirt. It's a living, breathing community of nutrients, microbes, and organic matter working together to support your plants. When you invest in your soil, you invest in your garden's success. So, today we're tackling the vital task of testing and improving your soil. Plus, I'll share simple, proven gardening tips to help you grow stronger, healthier plants. Grab your gardening gloves and let's dive in. Have you ever wondered what your soil really needs to thrive? Testing your soil is like giving it a health checkup. It reveals its strengths, weaknesses, and exactly how to give it some TLC. It's the starting point for achieving that lush, productive garden we all dream of. Let me walk you through the steps. First up, let's test your soil's pH, which affects how well plants absorb nutrients. You can pick up an easy-to-use pH test kit at your favorite garden center. Scoop out a sample, follow the directions, and voila! You'll know if your soil is acidic, neutral, or alkaline. For most plants, a slightly acidic to neutral pH between 6.0 and 7.0 works best. If you're specializing in crops like blueberries or hydrangeas, they may prefer more acidic conditions. Testing pH takes just minutes, but it can revolutionize the way you garden. Quick gardening tip: if your soil isn't in the ideal pH range, don't panic. Soil amendments like lime, to increase pH, or sulfur, to lower it, can bring balance back to your garden bed. Keep this in mind for the Improving Your Soil section coming up. Next, let's talk nutrients, because your plants need the right balance of nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium to thrive. Whether you use an at-home testing kit or enlist the help of a local extension service, this step gives you a snapshot of your garden's fertility. Don't let your soil be the equivalent of an empty pantry. Feed it well, and watch your plants soar. Garden pro tip: when sending samples for testing, collect from different areas of your garden. Composite samples offer a better overall picture of your soil's nutrient profile. Curious about your soil's texture? Understanding whether your soil is dominated by sand, silt, or clay helps you manage watering, drainage, and aeration properly. My favorite method is the jar test. It's hands-on, fun, and surprisingly revealing. Grab a clear jar, mix soil with water and a tiny bit of dish soap, give it a good shake, and let it settle overnight. As the layers separate, you'll see the percentages of sand, silt, and clay firsthand. Are you ready for soil science made simple? Fun fact: loam soil, which is a balanced mix of all three textures, is often hailed as the gardener's gold standard. If your soil isn't naturally loamy, don't worry. You can improve it over time. So, you've run your tests and identified what your soil needs. Now comes the fun part: giving it a makeover. Healthy, well-balanced soil is the cornerstone of every beautiful and bountiful garden. Let's explore some practical ways to nurture your soil based on its specific challenges. Is your soil low on nutrients? Compost is your best friend. Homemade compost, rich in decomposed plant material and kitchen scraps, is like a feast for your soil. Spread a generous layer over your garden bed and work it into the top inches. Not a composter yet? No problem. Organic fertilizers tailored to your test results, like blood meal for nitrogen or bone meal for phosphorus, fill gaps beautifully. Garden tip in action: layer compost as a mulch in the fall to feed the soil year-round. Your future self will thank you when planting season rolls around. Working with heavy, clay-rich soil. It can feel daunting, but a few simple adjustments will make it manageable. Mix in organic materials such as aged manure, shredded leaves, or coarse compost to loosen the soil and improve drainage. For especially waterlogged areas, consider creating a raised bed to control drainage and aeration. Did you know? Plants like asparagus and potatoes flourish in well-drained, looser soil. Pair your soil improvement efforts with the right plant selection for a winning combo. For gardeners with sandy soil, you might notice your plants dry out quickly after watering. Sandy soil struggles with holding moisture and nutrients, but the fix is simple: just add organic matter. Compost and a thick layer of mulch do wonders for enriching sandy soil and keeping it hydrated. Quick hack: try planting water-loving companion plants, like marigolds or nasturtiums, to reduce water stress in your sandy soil garden. If your soil's pH isn't quite right, don't fret. Small tweaks can go a long way in creating an ideal growing environment. Lime raises soil pH for overly acidic conditions, while elemental sulfur or organic materials like peat moss and pine needles lower excessively alkaline soil. Think of soil pH adjustment as an ongoing conversation with your garden. You'll adapt as you go. One last note: retest pH a few weeks after adding amendments to see how the soil has responded. It's science and gardening combined for amazing results. Now that you've got the tools to test and improve your soil, let me share what's happening in my raised bed garden today. My focus is simple preparation. With spring just around the corner, I'm testing my soil's pH and texture and making enhancements before the planting frenzy begins. First, I'm using an at-home pH kit. I suspect the soil in my raised bed skews slightly acidic, but I want to confirm before adding lime to balance it out. For texture, I'm conducting a jar test. If I see too much clay sediment, I'll incorporate a generous dose of shredded leaves and homemade compost, my ultimate secret weapon for soil health. Compost abounds with last season's garden waste and kitchen scraps, meaning it's teeming with life-nurturing goodness. Tip for busy gardeners: make compost in manageable batches. Even small contributions can make a huge impact over time. Then comes the fun part: digging my hands into the soil and topping off the beds with compost to lock in moisture and nutrients. There's nothing quite like connecting with the earth as you prepare your garden for a new growing season. Moment of reflection: as I work, I think about how every adjustment I make translates into stronger plants and higher yields down the line. Gardening isn't just about the final product. It's about the joy of the journey. Fellow gardeners, it all comes back to this: soil health is everything. By testing and improving your soil now, you're setting the stage for a spring and summer of vibrant, thriving plants. Whether it's boosting nutrients, balancing pH, or improving drainage, the time and care you put into your soil pays off 100-fold. There's no better gift you can give your garden. Before we say goodbye, let me give you a sneak peek at what's next on EcoAlchemy. In the upcoming episode, we'll be designing beautiful, productive garden spaces. Whether you're working with a sprawling yard or a small terrace, I'll share tips to maximize your layout, blend practicality with splendor, and make your garden a true reflection of you. See you next time, fellow Earth lovers. Until then, keep growing and thriving. Happy gardening from EcoAlchemy.